Hi, trackies. Welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Amitabha. Yes, trackies, I'm saying Amitabha because I've already made peace. I've made peace with the teams that were selected or the athletes that were selected to represent Team Jamaica at the World Relays, whether it was athletes that made themselves available or the staff that made the choices. I've already made peace with it and already set my expectations as it relates to what to expect from Team Jamaica. And it's kind of interesting because in this moment that I'm watching things play out, I actually hate being right. And this is a moment where I'm like, dang, I would have actually loved being wrong because when Jamaica comes out on the global stage and looks this dismal, I have to say it's not a good look for a team in general. So, yeah, I'm definitely not happy being right in this particular moment. So, yeah, in case some of y'all don't know, the world relays, are going on, and Jamaica has constructed multiple teams to represent our country, the best that they could, I suppose, at the time, send to represent Team Jamaica. Now, kicking things off, let's start with the mixed 4x4 release. This is what started the meet. Overall, when I looked at this particular team, actually, I had no issue with the team per se. The team of Rashawn Clark, Leah Anderson, Rasheen McDonald, and Genevieve Russell. So the team actually finished third, running 3 minutes, 14.83 seconds for season's best. Now, walking away with the win was Netherlands, and Dominican Republic was second. Now, interestingly, in these particular mixed relays, there are four heats and only two qualify automatically to the finals, plus also get a qualifying spot to the Olympic Games. So that's pretty much what happens here. As long as you're finishing top two, you get an automatic berth to the Olympic Games, which means that based on Jamaica's placing, we did not get an automatic berth. We do, however, have another shot tomorrow where we could try to potentially get into the Olympic Games. But again, let's see how that goes. Now, when I take a look at this particular team, as I said, I actually had no issue with the makeup of the team. Now, it started off with Rashawn Clark to Leah Anderson to Rasheed McDonald to Genevieve Russell. Now, Rashawn gave a pretty strong start. Leah Anderson, I thought she pretty much held her own. Rasheed McDonald tried his best, I thought, and Genevieve Russell, pretty much handled or did the best she could, based on what she was given. Now, when I take into consideration how each leg ran, I would have probably only made one switch, and I would have probably switched Rashawn with Rasheen, and I would have had Rasheen start, and I would have had Rashawn, sorry, be on the third leg. Now, the reason being is because one, Rasheen McDonald says he actually runs his best race, from the blocks. So I definitely wouldn't have put him in the middle of a race to try to, run down anybody because the likelihood of that happening was probably not likely since he's already indicated that that's how he runs. And if you check his history, maybe you will see that okay, yeah, this is indeed the case. So it's probably best to leave him on the first leg. Now, Rashawn gave us a fantastic first leg, but what I liked about how he ran was he's the type of athlete that can react to the situation around him. So let's say, for instance, Rasheen started and Leah second, and he wasn't in the best position. Based on how he ran that first leg, for me, indicated that he could have at least put Jamaica in a solid position to try to challenge for one of those top two spots. Because I believe that if Genevieve, based on how she ran anchor, if she was placed in a better position, then she'd have definitely had the opportunity to qualify for Team Jamaica in one of those automatic spots, one for the finals and two for the Olympic Games. But that's what happened here for the 4x4, the mixed 4x4. There are some other issues, in terms of, athletes maybe standing too long to receive the baton and not necessarily running off. You know what I mean? But separate and apart from that, Chuck, is I actually liked this team. I would have probably structured it a little bit different, but it is what it is. That's what happened with Team Jamaica in the mixed 4x4. So one, we didn't qualify for the finals, and two, I heard him talking something about, having another opportunity, to qualify. Let's see what happens tomorrow because this is something new, a new structure that they're doing here. Now, moving on to the women's 4x100 meters. And when I talked about I hate being right, it really has a lot to do with the 4x1s, because that's really where you see the issues that I've been talking about, play out. Do I think Jamaica had an issue in terms of the legs that we use in terms of their speed individually over the 100 meters? Not necessarily, because when I look at the teams that Jamaica is up against or was up against, in their second heat, they were up against the likes of Poland, Canada, China, Italy. These are not girls that are quote unquote faster than, or much faster, or any faster than our Jamaican individual legs, what they would have ran individually over the 100 meters so far this season, right? But what these athletes have over Team Jamaica is the fact that they get practice. They get practicing. So guess what? Doesn't matter. Well, not that it doesn't matter, because it matters eventually, how fast you are as well. But it doesn't matter in this case for them that, okay, we are not the fastest, because guess what? We know how to not let the baton slow down. What I saw for the women and the 4x1 was a lot of the baton slowing down. The athletes literally just standing and waiting on the baton. I remember when Alana got the baton, and she tried to, make back some ground, and I thought, okay, we were kind of back into things. Then on the ankle leg with Ramona Burchell, it's like she just stood still, and it is what it is. By the time she got the baton, Jamaica was way, way, way behind, and it was hard for her to try to make up any ground. Actually, she probably didn't even make up much ground on the athletes that were leading, right? So that's pretty much what happened. But separate and apart from how each individual attacked their leg, the issue that I found out is that, or found personally, is the fact that the baton was slowing down. It slowed down way too much, and this is the relays. This is a 4x1. The baton cannot be slowing down. Are teams that you could potentially beat on your best day, because the baton is slowing down, you end up losing to them. And in this instance, again, why is it that the baton is slowing down? Because the girls do not have any practice, and as such, they have to be waiting on the baton to ensure that they at least get the baton around safely, right? So as far as I'm concerned, track is, when I see things like this happening, I'm like, okay, well, clearly they're not getting any practice. What do we really expect? You know what I mean? And in this moment, as I said, I hate being right about stuff like this, because I've been begging and saying, why is it that Jamaica is the only country that I see not taking the relay seriously, in terms of, having, the organization, the J3s, have something structured set up for our athletes to make sure that they get some practice in ahead of any of these games that they're representing Jamaica in. Nothing like this happens. Now, looking at this world relays, I can see every country making an effort. Not to mention, most of the big countries have already, booked their spot to the Olympic teams. And even the commentators are looking around asking what's going on with Jamaica. Why is Jamaica not taking the relay seriously? And I'm left, saying, well, I've been asking Jamaica the same question. Why are we not taking the relay seriously? Why are we not getting any practice in? Why don't we have mandatory training setups for these athletes, so that they can get practice in, so that we don't have to go out there looking the way we look, and the athletes themselves can perform proficiently, given, who is running, and yeah, we can set an expectation based on that. But the mere fact that they don't have any practice, then, it ends up much worse than it could potentially be. So again, Jamaica finishes fifth in the women's 4x1. I think it shocked so many people. It left my face, agape. I was like, oh my God, I could not believe it. Now, telling me that we're not going to medal is one thing. Telling me that we're not even going to make the finals is a whole different kettle of fish. And yeah, this was not something within my expectation. But when I looked at what happened, I was like, well, you know what? It makes sense, because guess what? Jamaica is not doing what we're supposed to be doing to ensure that we make it to the next round. And again, this is not an attack on the athletes. I'm talking about the organization, the J3 is making sure that our athletes get some well needed practice, which they are not getting. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why. I'm looking at the big bad United States of America. You know what I mean? This country goes out year after year, championship after championship, and dominate. So you'd think that they'll be sitting on their laurels and saying, oh, we are the best. No, they keep working at it and trying to get better. And here is Jamaica, in my opinion, right now, sitting on our laurels, not trying to get better. Right now, let's head over to the men's 4x100 meters. Now, this was a saving grace for Team Jamaica because we were able to get an automatic berth into the Olympic Games by qualifying second into this race. But I did notice again we had the same issues where the baton was slowing down, so we definitely had to work on that, or we have to work on that. But with that said, good qualification from the guys. Sandrey Davis really brought us back into the conversation. At one point, it looked like he gave up because he thought maybe he wouldn't make it, but then he looked and he's like, "Oh, hold up, I'm making it." So he made that extra push and he made it. So great. We finished second, 38.50 seconds. That was a season's best run for us as well to qualify to the finals, and of course, as I said, get ourselves an Olympic birth to Paris. So yeah, great qualification there. But I have the same issue. The guys need practice. Sometimes it's not just about how each athlete runs individually, how fast they are, but of course, the baton, getting that around as smooth, as crisp, and as fast as possible. And I think Jamaica definitely missed the mark a lot at these world relays when it came to just over navigating the baton, whether it was the 4x4 or whether it was the 4x1s. It showed up much more in the 4x1 clearly, right? But yeah, that's what happened in the men's 4x1. So congratulations to them. They make it to the finals. From a medal perspective, honestly, I'm not looking to see Jamaica get a medal in the 4x1 because we barely made it. You know what I mean? America looked really strong, really, really strong. They ran like a 37:47, I believe, to qualify. That was one of the fastest times. I was actually surprised they ran so fast. And I thought to myself in that moment, maybe America could really challenge that world record in the 4x1, if things go well for them in Paris. But anyway, let's see how that goes. In continuing, let's take a look at the women's 4x4. So in the women's 4x4, Jamaica finished third here. Unfortunately, we know we were third, quite a few times. The team of Shiroki Young, Ashley Williams, Janelle Bromfield, and Ronisha McGregor, finished third, 3 minutes 29.03 seconds. Based on how I saw this team structured, I figured more than less they were trying to front load the team. Unfortunately, we just didn't have, the finishing power to really bring this home for Jamaica, at least in a qualifying spot. So yeah, it is what it is. This was the best team that we had to send as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, plus let's not forget that we used some of our strongest legs in the mixed 4x4. So I didn't expect these girls to come back for, the 4x4 for the women. So I think that's probably why it ended up a little bit shorthand in this instance. And yeah, with that said, unfortunately, even though we put out a stronger mixed 4x4 team, or yeah, stronger mixed 4x4 team, it didn't really assist in qualifying because we still didn't make it there and we still didn't make it here because we kind of shorthanded the other teams based on what I'm seeing here. So the women, ended up shorthanded, and also the men as well in the 4x4. Again, there are 4 heats for every single event, which means that if you don't place in top 2, then unfortunately you do not, one, qualify to the finals, and 2, also you did not get an automatic spot to the Olympic Games. So same thing happened here again in the men's 4x4. I felt like, if we had a stronger team based on who was in the mixed 4x4, then we could have definitely made it. Unfortunately, seems the same thing happened here. They tried to front load the team, but it didn't work out in our favor again. I just think that there's not enough room given to Demish Gay, considering that the type of athlete that he is, to try to get the stick home. It just didn't work out. And again, I've kind of made peace with who we sent as well. I did think though that overall our strongest team was the men's team in the 4x4 or mixed 4x4. That was definitely the strongest team. It was just trying to figure out how to, spread the guys then across each event, the mixed 4x4 and also the 4x4 event. Unfortunately, it didn't go well in either, right? We still didn't qualify to the finals in either, even though we tried our best. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, when it comes to these results, what I will say is that for this particular relay, I just want Jamaica to know and realize that the rest of the world is clearly much more serious than Jamaica is in these relays, and we can't take certain things for granted. And I know some of y'all are probably going to come in the comment section and say to me, well, guess what? We didn't send the top girls. Well, guess what? The top girls still have the same issue in terms of receiving baton, handing off baton. The baton is still slowing down, and that's pretty much why America keeps beating us. That's why they beat us in back-to-back championships. Well, let me not use last year because last year Shirley booked up an injury. But you understand what I'm trying to say. The issue is that the baton keeps slowing down. The girls are not getting practice. The guys are not getting any practice. And clearly something that needs to be had right now. And based on the world relays, based on how shocked everybody is as well that Jamaica is, well done. People couldn't believe. I can't believe, even though I'm saying I made peace with it, before heading into the games. It was still surprising seeing how we perform because I still kind of expected us to make it to the finals. I won't lie, but it is what it is. Anyway, Chuckies, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.